Hope you're wavy. Hope you're gravy. Hope you're gravy. Hope you're gravy. You're doing great. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing fantastic. Hope you're doing fantastic. Yeah. I'm not easy, by the way. I've dropped 7 songs this past Friday. If you want to check them out, the link is in the description. I'd really appreciate if you check that. And then I'm doing this thing. I'm gonna be posting poems on my community tab. I'm gonna try post every day because I want to release an anthology once I have enough poems. I'll decide how much enough is. I was thinking like 50 to 100. I know that's a broad range, but yeah, I'll see. I think 50 is enough, honestly, because at first I said 100, but I'm like, 50 is a lot of poems. That'll hold people for quite some time. You can reread. Because, you know, sometimes I'm posting these things on my community tab. Sometimes it's hard to find the poems because, you know, the community tab is... I post a lot on there, so sometimes it's hard to, like, find the poem you want. You have to scroll through all my all my nonsense to find the poem you're looking for, so it'd be nice for you to have, like, all of them collected in one place. So when I have enough, I'll release an anthology. I might have to start writing multiple poems a day, actually. Just so I can get... Okay, I don't want to rush myself. It's better to take my time. Just put out the best work I can. Part of me is eager to just put out these poems, but also it's very important to, like, pace yourself. I just like writing love poems at the moment. That might be my thing. I might just be love poetry, chess. It's fun. I don't know. I like writing poems about love. I like love in general. Fascinating concept. Sometimes I feel like self-conscious or guilty about focusing on that topic. I'm like, maybe I should talk about something else. Is it okay for me to talk about this one topic so much? So I think that's about... Even like when I'm making music, I make a lot of love songs. I'll be like, should I talk about this instead or that? I don't know. That's a thought I have sometimes, but yeah, I'm really enjoying writing love poetry. That just might be my whole thing. We'll see. But definitely for now, what I'm doing right now is I'm reading poems, like other poets who wrote love poetry. I'm reading their poems and like getting inspiration from them, learning about different styles, different structures. What I don't like about a lot of poetry is sometimes people try so hard to be like deep and like mysterious, and they have weird diction, and they phrase things sometimes in ways that are hard to understand. Like you really have to read and reread, and I guess there's an art to that, and that can be enjoyable. But sometimes I think there's beauty in simplicity, you know? Like, I don't think the way you phrase things has to be complicated. I think the message itself can have depth and complexity while being simple. You know what I'm saying? So you can read something and understand it right away, but then you read it again, you're like, wait, that could mean this, that could mean that, that could... I think... And you can invoke certain imagery, and that can have several implications as well. So I'm trying to lean in on that because... especially for like a modern audience, especially like the people I'm trying to reach, like y'all, like the people that watch these videos, I don't want it to be too highbrow, esoteric kind of literature, poetry, because I want people to get it. I want people to, even like people that are at an entry level when it comes to poetry, for them to read it and understand it and have fun with it. But I don't want it to be watered down or stupid either. You know, I want it to be real poetry, but I'm trying to strike that balance. Like making it simple, but giving it layers. Something can be simple, yet profound. It's possible to have both. on your first read you can still enjoy it, but then you realize, oh, if I read it again and again and again, I can start really interpreting it in different ways. So I actually started writing poetry because of this girl in 2015. When was that? I think it was 2015, yeah. There was this girl that I knew and she wrote poetry, and I was like, I said to myself, I need something to talk to her about. Let me write poetry so we have that in common. Because I knew that she writes poetry. She would publish her poetry on like Facebook and stuff, and everyone knew that she was a poet. So I was like, let me do that as well. That would be my entry point. So I was very bad at first, but I kept going, and she would give me compliments about my poetry, and that motivated me. And me and her didn't work out, but I realized that I'm actually enjoying this, and I think I'm good at this. So I kept going, and I kept going for years. 2017 was when I decided, let me start writing raps, because I already write poetry, so I like rap music. I think I could do it. I think I could be good at it. So I transformed my poetry into rap, and I've kind of been rapping ever since. And poetry took kind of like it took like kind of like a back seat. But now I'm getting back into it. But you know, I've written poems here and there, but I felt like my poetry was not good. I was like, this is not up to scratch with other poems that people like. And I realized it was because I wasn't reading much poetry. I think it's very important to consume the sort of art that you want to make, just so you can have reference and get inspiration and know how it's done. That's just would be my personal advice. People can do what they want, but I've found that even when it comes to writing novels, reading novels helps so much. Some people don't like to consume other people's art because they feel like they'll get influenced too much or something like that. I mean, we all are influenced by someone or something anyway, so you can't escape that. But to each their own. For me personally, I found it's very helpful to consume the media or the art that you're trying to produce. I'm reading poetry, and it's helping a lot. It's helping me come up with great concepts and great ideas. Yeah, I'll try. I genuinely enjoy writing these poems, so I'll try and upload multiple a day. And then I'll intentionally post other things on my community tab so that for anyone who wants to like read those poems, they have to struggle to find them. So that when I release the anthology, it's the best way for you to read poems without having to constantly scroll through the community tab. Hey, you gotta do it, man. I'm just being honest about my tactics. That'll be my game plan. I'll make sure I post a lot as well, other stuff that has nothing to do with poetry, so that the people that want to go to my community tab to find the poems have to work hard to find them. So that the anthology become like, you're like, let me just get the anthology, because yeah, it's easier to read the poems that way. Now, or you can just support me out of your kindness of your heart. I am gonna do that though. Well, actually, if I upload multiple times a day, I don't wanna like oversaturate my community tab. If I upload multiple poems a day, I mean, we'll see. Just letting you know, like literally, that's a thought I was having. Gotta be honest. Anyway, I was in the shower and I was thinking about last night. I was watching this ASMR girlfriend role play, And I saw this comment. This guy was like, "Man, this needs to stop. I need to get a girlfriend. This is getting out of hand." So basically, he was saying like he's down bad because he's watching so many of these girlfriend role plays, and he just needs to get a real girlfriend. And I was just laughing because I was like, "Yeah, that's true." Man. And then I still watched the video, but I found it funny. And I was thinking, yeah, I also need to get someone, but I can't rush because, you know, when you're in that place of rushing, what ends up happening is you jump at the first person that gives you attention. You know what I'm saying? You kind of jump at the first person that likes you or gives you sort of attention, but she might not be right for you. She might not be the person that you need. So it's very important to be patient, to be prudent. And yeah, I tell myself, like, just work on yourself, bro. Like, build yourself up, and then you'll become more attractive. You'll have a few more options, and then it'll be easier to find the sort of woman that you want. And you know, I've got plans of migrating at some point, leaving the country, going somewhere else, thinking of the US, thinking of wherever else. I will see. I'm not sure. You know, there was a point in time where I really wanted to live in the UK. Like, really, really wanted to live in the UK. That was like 2018, 19, maybe a bit of 2020. I'm not sure when that stopped, but I was super fascinated. 2021 as well. Like, yeah, I remember 2021. I had a deep fascination with the UK. Now it's kind of shifted to the US, like my obsession. Kind of like, I'm super into US politics, and I've been watching like these neighborhood tours or these city tours, like Tampa, Florida, for example. Or yeah, I've really only been looking at Florida. Maybe I should try other places. I did watch like a New Hampshire. New Hampshire is very fascinating. I'm getting off track. Let me get back to the topic. So I've got plans of migrating. So maybe I migrate first, and then you meet someone in the place you want to move to. That'll make things easier than having someone you find here and then moving with them, because they might not want to move. They might have obligations here, for example. I'm in South Africa, by the way, for people who don't know. I like South Africa. It's a great country. It's beautiful. I like our sense of humor. And there'll be a lot to be missed when I end up moving. Well, let me not say when, because things might change in terms of my desires. We'll see. Elections are coming up. That might make a difference in terms of how this country shapes out. We'll see. So I do have a lot of love for SA, but I am strongly considering moving elsewhere. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is there are a lot of things to consider before you just jump into a relationship with someone. Because once you're in, you know. You don't want to be in a relationship and realize that, oh, I made the wrong choice. Then you have to break up and you have all this pain and trauma. Yeah. You don't want to be overly cautious, but you don't want to be like flippant and just the opposite of cautious, you know? Just careless, lax, laissez-faire. I do think about that a lot, but I won't lie. Watching the girlfriend role plays, it feels if you use your imagination as well, it feels real. It feels nice. It's like for me. I don't think the videos are intended. Well, you never know with some of these girls. But I don't even think it's like a sexual thing. I think it's more so an emotional thing. I don't like the idea of me watching these videos, but I'll just be honest. I am watching. I do watch sometimes, and it feels nice. The intimacy when you when they role play with the conversation and stuff. Oh, my brother is here today. By the way, he's making noise. Even like, I'm gonna sound so corny for saying this, cringe, but even even hearing like, you know, like, I think I'll keep that part to myself. I think I'll keep. I was like, should I say it? Nah, I'll keep that to myself. Anyway, it's nice. It's nice. So I'm looking forward to being in a relationship. I really am. I'm very, very excited. I can't wait. But yeah, you have to be patient. You have to. You can't just. A lot of people just jump in. Let me tell this guy to keep quiet because he's making a lot of noise. Hold on. Yeah, I'm really excited. Like what? Love is such a beautiful thing, man. What? There's like a few things in life that are like worthy of that much attention and excitement and dedication. I just feel like love is a worthy thing to be excited about. It's a worthy thing to be obsessed over. It's a worthy thing to dedicate yourself to. That's what, look, family, so getting married, having children, that's what's going to sustain you over a lifetime. So I think it's an amazing investment to make, to invest in a great relationship, invest in having kids and raising them and having them around. And, you know, a few other things. Like, for me, growing this channel, not hopefully, becoming a professional artist, so monetizing my craft, stuff like that. All that other stuff is nice, like the career stuff is nice, but the thing I get excited about the most is love, is family, is picturing a home with the people I love and just nurturing that and growing that. It's exciting, man. It's a very worthy pursuit. I would encourage everyone to go after that. There are a lot of people these days that think that's not important, which is unfortunate. They find out later on in life that they're lonely, you know, they don't have anyone because they were pursuing these other materialistic things. I don't think I'd be happy if I was like a successful artist, but I didn't have a family. Like I didn't have like a wife who I'm very close to, who loves me. You could get a wife if you're successful, but I think it's very easy actually when you have a lot of money and people know who you are. I think it's very easy to find someone, but it's about finding the right person who you connect with. So I don't think I'll be happy if I had all this success, but I didn't have a great love life with a great family. I think I'll be happier if I never became successful in the things I'm pursuing, but I did find like a great wife and have great kids and we have a great home. Great home meaning just, it's not about the size or the money it costs, but like literally just the environment. It's a great environment to be in. I love my family loves me, we're having a good time. I think I'd be happy if I had that, but you know, maybe I'm not necessarily successful in my craft. Whereas if I was successful in my craft but I didn't have a family, I don't think I'd be happy. I don't think so. Yeah, it's not even a difficult choice for me. If you ask me to choose, well, actually, if you ask me to choose between, you get to meet this beautiful woman and you fall in love with her and you get married and you have an amazing love life together, but you have to abandon the path you're on with regards to like your art and get some job. Maybe you just work for your mom full time and you have to really dedicate yourself to that, and it's going to be very difficult, and there will be many days where you're not enthused and whatever the case may be, but you have that family. Or you could have the art and be successful, but you'd be kind of lonely. What did you pick? I'll pick the family. I'll pick the family. I think your family puts a battery on your back. It motivates you. You stop doing things for yourself. It's no longer about you. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if I'm a successful artist who's just not fulfilled, do you know how many people like who are rich and successful and are living the dream end up killing themselves? You know, you had Robin Williams, you had the several high-profile cases, the celebrities who are doing very well, very wealthy, very successful. Everyone knows who they are, and end up offing themselves, or they're depressed. They might not kill themselves, but they're very depressed. They're not happy. That's a lot of these celebrities. That is a lot of them. I'd argue it's the majority of them, actually. A celebrity that's mentally well and is just at peace and is balanced seems like the exception, not the rule. That's what I've noticed. A lot of these people are quite strange. So I want to avoid that. Love over everything, yeah, for sure. Love, family over everything. I need to find like a good family show. I was watching My Wife and Kids. I like that show. It's nice. I need to find another family. You know the issue with a lot of these family shows these days? It's like it's a lot of modern conceptions of love and family, which I'm not a fan of. So it's hard to find something that espouses like traditional family values. Father being the head of the household, mom being caring, like oh my god, finding like a series where you have like the traditional mom who's at home with the kids, because that's what I liked about shows like My Wife and Kids. Like in that show, Jay was the mom, and she's at home taking care of the kids, so you always watch her dynamics with the children and stuff like that. And then Michael's he goes to work and comes back home, and you get to see what that dynamic's like. I want to find more shows like that, because that's just what I'm into. That's what I want for myself. So it's hard, man. In 2024, everything is so, modernized. Just completely, it just doesn't have that charm for me. Doesn't seem as nice. Everyone's working, everyone's busy, the kids are shipped. I hate public school, by the way. I'm not a fan of public school because it's the government's raising your kids. Because if mom is working, dad is working, who's raising the kids? Either you get a nanny, and that's not ideal. Either way, someone else is raising your kids besides you. And obviously when the kids get to a certain age, like a nanny's not going to cut it. You have to send them to public school or private school, whatever school. But the whole point is that someone besides you is raising your kids. I don't like that. So how long is school? Basically for 12 years. Someone else is 12 years, 8 hours a day, or probably a lot more than that in many cases. Someone else is raising your children, and then you see them in the evening. And now in this modern era, even in the evenings, a lot of these people at the dinner table, they just go on their phones. They don't even talk as a family. So you really don't even spend any time with your kids. It's like these families are not close. A lot of kids don't have close relationships with their parents. I'm very close to my mom. Me and my mom talk about almost everything. Obviously, she's my mom, so we're very close, but there's certain sides of me she doesn't see. But that's the case with everyone. Everyone sees different aspects of you. But with my mom, we're close. We have a genuine relationship. We actually like each other, number one. We genuinely, we make each other laugh. We discuss politics, interesting conversations. Always happy to see each other. We're close, but a lot of people don't have that with their parents. And it's because of this structure we've got now with public school, where you just, send your kids off and someone else raises them. So one thing I want to do when I have kids is homeschool them. That's why it's important for me. It's very important for me to have a woman who's willing to stay at home with the kids. so she can homeschool them. It's not going to work if we're both working, for what I have in mind. It's not going to work if we're both busy career people. I don't like that. So I'd love a woman who's at home with the kids, raising them, being close with them. If my kids can have what I have with my mom, that would be perfect. Oh my God. And I want them to have what I have with my mom. I want them to have that with me as well. Where like I genuinely like who my kids are. Like it's not because there's a difference between loving someone and liking them. You can love someone and not like them that much, not like them at all. It's very possible. And I think that's the dynamic between a lot of parents and their children, which is very sad. It's not supposed to be that way. So I want to mitigate against that. I want to be very close to my kids, have my wife be very close with her kids. And there's ways to go about that. There's ways to get that done. And I think the best way is to raise them. Like literally, they grow up around us. They spend the most of their time around us. Your family is supposed to be your nucleus. It's supposed to be your core community. I don't think it should be the case. It's very normal these days. But I don't think it was always this way where, your social groups, your external social groups are the people you spend the most time with. That's a new development. I don't think it was always that way. I think people always stuck with their tribe. They always stuck with their family. And those are the people that they were closest to. Now it's kind of shifted where your homies from school or work, or those are the people you see the most. And sometimes you see your parents, especially when you move out, you see them once or twice a year. If you got siblings, you see them. You see them. I don't want it to be like that with my family. I was watching. There's this family. They're a very large family, actually, very large. They post content online about their daily lives. And they all live very close together. So, the kids, they're grown. The kids are grown. So some of them move out and get married. But when they move out, they literally move across the street. Or within walking distance. There was a particular vlog where they pulled a prank on the dad and said, we're moving to this other country because there's an opportunity there and we're making lots of money. And it was a big deal because the dad was like distraught. He was like, what, you're moving away? Oh no, and your mom was going to be sad and all these sorts of things. And it turned out to be a prank. Like, no, we're not moving. We just wanted you to stress out. But I was thinking about how, like, they're very close. Like, it's your family. Like as a family, they're extremely close. You can see that these are the people they spend the most time with. That's my conception of what I want and what I'm going to be working towards. So I just need to find a woman that is on board with that mission and will go along with it. Something else I was thinking about. I got a cousin. I'll call him T, just so I don't keep calling him my cousin. So T has a wife. I'll call her B. These are the initials of their names. T works in another city. So he doesn't live with his wife and his kid. He got a job offer somewhere else, so he lives apart from them because he has to work in another city. So I think T and B had gotten into some sort of fight. I don't know what was going on with them, but B was basically like, because she was living with my other cousin, I'll call her S. She was living with my cousin S, and she just one day just told S, like, I'm taking my kid, moving out and we're going back to live with family in this other town. See ya. And she did that. I think she did it because she wasn't comfortable. She'd gotten into multiple arguments with the domestic worker until the domestic worker quit, and there were other issues. So I think she just wasn't comfortable in that environment. But here's my thing, right? The kid, my little nephew, he was doing very well in school, and he had a teacher that was talking to my cousin S and telling him he's doing well, and I see a lot of potential, and you just need to keep encouraging him. I think he's going to be doing well in school and stuff like that. So he was very settled in this environment. And S has a son, a little boy as well. And so S's son and B's son, they were getting along very well. It was a nice environment. It was a nice little setup. But now B takes her son and takes her son out of school because it's time to move to this other town, and for all these weird reasons that have nothing to do with anything. It's not important. It's just an emotional decision she was making. And I was just thinking, this kid needs to stay in school. He's got a good thing going, and you're just disrupting it. I don't like that you're disrupting what he's got going on. He needs some consistency. I like I said, I'm against public school generally speaking, but that's for my family. For some people, these are the options they have, and whatever works, whatever's working for you at the time, keep that going. So I just felt like she was disrupting something that was working, and I wasn't a fan of that. So I was asking, because my mom was telling me this, I was asking her, my cousin T, who works in this, I'm like, isn't he the man of his house? Why is he allowing this? Why can B just take her son from school and just move into another town? Like, that's absurd. And my mom was like, she's just not listening to him. I'm like, that's crazy. So it made me think about the importance. Everyone can have their own opinions about dating and your roles in a relationship and stuff like that. This is just my perspective. It's very important for a man to be in charge of his household, to be the leader in the relationship, and to be able to have the final say in matters such as this. So T should be able to say to B, like, you can't take the kid to some other town. Like, he's doing very well right now, and we can't cut the clips. Anyway, we can't disrupt that. So please stay put. I don't want you moving around. And she should listen. She should just respect that and listen. I think it's very important for a man to have that level of authority in his relationship where he can just say no, and that's that. I know some girls might not like that, but it's very important. It's about having a chain of command, because these days there's this idea that both people can be in charge in a relationship. It's nonsense. It's like a two-headed snake, because look what happens. Like, think about the story I just told you. B is like, I'm taking this kid out of school and I'm going to live with family in this other town. T is like, but no, like, that's not, no. Because there's no ultimate authority, she has the kid at the time, so she has the power, really, because what can he do? He's in a whole other city. He can't do anything about it. He just has to accept it. Oh, it's important to provide further context. That whole family is moving to the UK soon. So maybe T's reasoning was, I'll just let her take the kid out of school because we're going to the UK soon anyway. So I guess we'll be together again soon. So I'll let it slide. Maybe that was his logic. I don't know. It's still nonsense, but I just wanted to provide that context. But you can see that they are of two minds. They are not one. One person wants to do this, the other person wants to do this. That's why and that's going to be a recurring thing. He's clearly not the head of his household. He's not in charge. But she's not in charge either, because he's just not at home. So when he's with them, he's gonna want to do things one way, she's gonna want to do, and it's gonna be constant bickering, and that can lead to divorce. Even if you don't get divorced, your kid is going to see you constantly arguing. That's not healthy for the kid. That's why it's very, very important. I'm sorry, you have to have someone who's in charge, who's the buck stops with them, and they call the shots. It does not make sense for the woman to be that person in most cases. It just doesn't make sense. Women are generally more emotional. Men work best in those roles, generally speaking. So, especially when I'm thinking about my personal life and my future, it's not going to work. My wife being the head of the household, it's just it wouldn't work. So it's very important to have a chain of command, because it provides structure. Things move in an orderly fashion. There's some girls that are like, yeah, I'm okay with following and all these sort of things, and just being ready and willing to serve. But I think what they don't realize is that it does mean that there are going to be times where you don't agree with your husband and you have to listen anyway. For example, with the story I told, he's going to be like, keep the kid there. You can't go to some other town. No, he's doing very well in school, and I don't want him to move. And even though you, for whatever reason, wanted to move to this other town, you're going to have to stay put. You're going to have to listen to him and trust him. So there's going to be moments, for example, with me, maybe, where my wife wants to do something, and I'm like, that's not smart. No. It's not gonna work, babes. And it's not about being some sort of authoritarian. It's not about throwing your weight around. It's not about any of that. It's about what's best for the family. It's about order. It's about structure. Because if we have this thing where we're constantly second guessing each other, and you're second guessing me all the time, it'll lead to worse outcomes. It's better for us if we're one band, one sound, and I'm able to direct us. We will achieve better outcomes. That doesn't mean you're not allowed to provide input. You can tell me when I'm flying off the handle a little bit, or whatever the case may be. We can have lots of discussions. But yeah, it's important to understand that he's in charge. I should listen, I should follow. There are extreme circumstances sometimes where men are just not capable of leading, and you, as a woman, you have to take charge and do what you need to do. My mom experienced that, where my dad was just he was not fit to lead the house, and she took us and moved out. She did what she had to do. So I'll acknowledge there are men who are not in any position to lead. True. So for anyone who's shouting at me, so there might be someone in the comments, or they haven't seen this part, but they're in the comments, men this, men that. Yeah, I acknowledge there are men who are not up to standard. They're not good leaders. That's why it's important for women to be very, very selective. Be very careful. You know what I was talking about earlier about not rushing into relationships? A lot of people rush, man. Be careful. Be mindful of the environments you find yourself in. Don't hang around in environments where you're not going to find the highest quality people, and then you end up dating some sleazebag of a guy, and you get married to him, and then you're shocked when things don't work out, and he's a terrible husband, a terrible father. Be very, because I've noticed with a lot of girls, they ignore red flags. They ignore red flags because they're caught up in the emotions. Look, it happens. It happens to guys too, but particularly with women, they ignore a lot of red flags. Be very mindful of men who are not fit for the role of leading a household. Don't do it. Do not do it. And then you can avoid situations where you're with a bum. It's also important for me to make sure I'm the best version of myself. Because, okay, here's another thing. Yes, men should lead. Men should be respected as the heads of the households, but respect is earned. Respect isn't something that's just given to you for free. You have to, because there's different approaches to this, right? You can take the approach of shouting at people and being like, respect me, and trying and forcing them to follow you. You can, and some people do that, and the result is that in a lot of cases, when dad comes home, everyone kind of straightens up and gets into the positions because he's a scary, domineering figure, and people are tense around him. You don't want to be that guy. You know, that's what my dad was when we lived with him. And remember what I talked about loving someone but not liking them? That's going to be you. People go love you, but they won't like you. And they won't talk to you. You don't want to be that person. So that's one approach to leadership, which is not, it's not good. It's not as effective. The other approach is leading by example, showing that you're capable of handling certain things, serving the people around you, being there, talking to everyone, and developing the sort of relationship with them that makes them want to follow you, so that they trust you. They're like, okay, he probably knows best. He probably is the best person to steer this ship, to be the captain of this ship. Let's follow him. Even with like, if you're using the ship analogy, you want a crew that likes you, like they respect you deeply. They are honored to serve you as the captain. You don't want to be mutiny. You know, you don't want to be mutinied, because mutiny is when basically the crew of a ship or usurps their captain. They overturn their captain and erect a new one. You don't want to be that person who the crew looks like, ugh. They're not going to work as hard for you. They're not going to be as willing to follow orders. They're not going to be enthusiastic about their job. But when you have people that love you and respect you, they'll go to hell and back for you. They'll put in 100,000% because they don't want to disappoint you. You want to be that sort of leader. So I'm mindful of how it's a big task, this thing of leading a household. It's not a small thing, and it's not about the glory. It's not about, I'm the man of the house, look at me, hoo. It's just not even about that. It's about who's the best person to do this job, which is a hard job, and sometimes it's a thankless job, but someone has to do it, and you better have the right person doing it, because if you have the wrong person doing it, you're going to have hell to pay. Like I said, women are very emotional, and sometimes you don't want that person like at the helm, because they might not be seeing things from a pragmatic, practical perspective all the time. They might not be making the sort of considerations that a man would make, for example, that are very vital considerations to make. It's just my opinion, and I think it's not just an opinion, it's backed by years of observation. There's a point I wanted to make. Oh yeah, here's what I'll say though. So we talk about the roles men and women have. Sometimes we can be too harsh in our expectations. So some girls, for example, will be like, if he's not this super macho guy and he can't like change the oil of a car in 5 seconds flat and whatever, I don't know. I'm picturing some stereotypical manly man, And that's the sort of woman that will hold every man to that standard. And if you don't meet that right away, then you're not worth consideration. And on the flip side, the guys that are harsh towards the woman because she doesn't fulfill certain feminine roles, it's very important for there to be understanding and cooperation, especially in this modern context. So, for example, I know a lot of girls that can't cook. Like, they can't cook at all. And I understand why in the modern context we're in, because they weren't taught. And these days it's all about career, career, career. Send the girls to school, do this, do that, but they never taught basics. I think everyone should know how to cook just for survival purposes, but a lot of girls especially are taught for whatever reason. It's not important. So, but even if you live by yourself as a woman, you're gonna have to cook anyway, so it's important to know how to cook. But I'm not gonna say it's a deal breaker for a girl, especially in this modern context, doesn't know how to cook. I think she can learn. Actually, something I think about, it would be nice to do if I end up in a position where my wife doesn't know how to. It would be nice to find a woman that knows how to cook already, but if she doesn't know how to cook, one thing you could do is go to courses together, like short courses. Or the courses could be a fun thing to do because you get to go out and have an adventure. Or I could just teach you at home because I went to cooking school. I know how to cook. You can actually go to my Instagram and there's a highlight reel I have of stuff I made at cooking school and outside of cooking school. You can see the dishes I made. I posted a bunch on my community tab, but there's no way you're gonna find them. It's too many posts. I wish there's a way to organize your community posts, like create like files and stuff so people can find things easier. But anyway, I can teach her, or we can go to courses together and learn that way. It's about being patient and kind and compassionate. Be like, okay, you're not off the hook. You still have to learn, but I'm not gonna beat you over the head because you don't know this. How about we get you to that point where you can become a good cook? Because I like the idea of a woman cooking for a family. It's not even about the food. It's the food. It's important that the food is good, but the thing that's important, the most important, is the concept, what it represents. Eating something made for you by someone you love, it hits different, man. When my mom makes me meals, it hits different than just ordering something from whatever restaurant. To know my mom made this with love, that's different, man. You watch these Korean shows or these Japanese shows, and the wife makes like her husband, like in Japan they have like I think they call it bento, like a bento lunchbox. These specially made lunchboxes for their husbands, and they pack them with all these treats and yeah, there's these tasty looking foods, and there's love behind it, and it's like nice. It's like my wife packed me lunch. It's a wonderful concept, right? So I think it's very important for me in particular to have a woman that knows how to cook and can prepare meals for me, for my kids. Again, I know how to cook, and I will be cooking, but it would be nice to have like someone who can do the same. Like that's her primary. She serves that role primarily in the house, preparing food. So that's an example of something that I can be patient and kind with. Me, I'm not, ooh, one thing I was thinking about, I want to learn how to use a gun, just because, it's important to be able to protect your family. And just become more masculine, really get into that protector role, so that she can feel safe around me and know that if things pop off, I'm there and I'm capable of defending my family. So I thought it'd be cool to go to like a gun range together, learn how to shoot guns together, and then I can serve that primary role of like, if things ever go crazy, I'm there. You don't have to worry. But also, it's good for her to know how to do that as well, so that if I'm not there, she can protect the kids, whatever the case may be. I also I need to learn like self-defense. Maybe I could do like boxing lessons and stuff. I've always wanted to learn how to box, how to throw punches and stuff. I've never been in like a fight, like a proper fight, especially as a grown person. When I was like in primary school, I got into a little scuffle with someone, but besides that, I haven't gotten into anything serious. In high school, it wasn't a fight. We grabbed each other, we wrestled a little bit, but people pulled us apart. So I've never been in a fight. So it'd be nice to learn how to actually fight. Just so I know I have the tools to protect my family if need be, so she can feel safe. There's something that happens when a woman feels safe around you. She becomes very relaxed. And so I heard someone talking about this, because if a woman doesn't feel safe around you, she's very alert and looking around and analyzing them, because she has to be aware of any potential threats. Men aren't as on edge as women might be in certain environments, because the odds of a man being attacked by another man, well, they can rob you, but women are generally easier targets and can get kidnapped or whatever the case may be. So they tend to be more alert because they have to be. But when a woman is around a man that she feels safe around, that she trusts to protect her, she becomes very relaxed, not as on edge. So I want to be that for her, for sure. I work out. I feel like I'm strong, but I could get stronger. I could get bigger. I could learn how to use guns. I could develop more confidence, so that sometimes the appearance of a threat is enough to keep enemies away. Just appearing to be a threat is often enough. So yeah, definitely need to become that. So yeah, it's just about being there for each other and helping each other become the best version of themselves. My wife helping me become more masculine, become more of the man that she needs. Me helping her become more of the woman that I need. And having patience and compassion for each other. And we cooperate and understand that it's a process. And there's grace. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything perfectly. She doesn't have to be, obviously there's a bar, the minimum requirement in terms of how feminine she is and the role she fulfills, but she doesn't have to be like this archetype, this perfect ideal. And I don't have to be that either, because if you hold yourselves to too high of a standard, sometimes that creates problems in the relationship, where you're setting unrealistic expectations that can't be met and you become discontent and there's issues. Whereas when you acknowledge the ideal, like, okay, there is an ideal, there is an ultimate version of what it is that we're trying to be, but we understand that we're probably never going to get there, both of us, but we're working towards it. We're helping each other, and we're being kind to each other in the process. I think that's important. But yeah, it's very important that I am the head of my house. I think I'll be effective at that role, and I want a woman who would be willing to follow me. Again, to each their own. If that's not for you, don't yell at me, please. I'm just telling you what I want for myself and what will make me happy. And I think the family will be happy that way. I think the sex in the relationship will be great. I think just as a couple, we'll just be happy. We won't be arguing as much as these other couples. You won't be having as many problems, because there'll just be structure. There'll be no reason to be constantly going at odds with each other when there's a understood plan of action that we're both following, without anyone getting too eager to disrupt things. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And drop a heart emoji. Because once again, we talked about love. 50 minutes, 55 minutes. Let me know if you watched the whole video. 55 minutes. That'd be crazy if you watched. If you're listening right now, you watched the whole thing. Put a heart emoji to let me know you watched the whole thing. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Wow, 55 minutes. 56 at this point. Let me pray and get out of here. And I have to pray at the end of my videos. Dear Father God, thank you for this individual watching this from there, for making them whole, unique, and guiding them on a path towards peace, prosperity, and purpose. Thank you for blessing this person with wonderful people in their life who love them, take care of them, bring the absolute best out of them. And thank you for maintaining the ones that are there to do the same thing. Thank you for blessing this person with the spirit of gratitude so they can give thanks for all the wonderful things in their life. And by giving thanks, they can find peace, contentment, and attract even more blessings. Let your presence be felt in this person's life so they know that you're God, that you love them, you're always going to be there for them. Good health, long life, and happiness over this person, everyone they care about. In your mind, I'm praying in Jesus' name, I pray in Jesus' name, I pray. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen, 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 amen.